man. And what the writer of Proverbs is doing, and a lot of people think it's Solomon writing to his son, because Solomon is credited to writing much of the book of Proverbs. And so what he's doing is writing to his son, but he's not just telling him, he's coming out of his own life. It's out of his example, out of his morality. And what he says to him is, son, just be cautious. Be careful. Not everybody has your best interest at heart. And let me give you an example now. In Proverbs chapter 5. Proverbs chapter 5. Here's what it said. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Lend your ear to my understanding, that you may preserve discretion, and your lips may keep knowledge. The lips of an immoral woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil, but in the end she's bitter as wormwood. Sharp as a two-edged sword, her feet go down to death, her steps lay hold of hell, lest you ponder her path of life, her ways are unstable. You do not know what she's thinking. You do not know them. Therefore hear me now, my children, and do not depart from the words of my mouth. Remove your way from her, and do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your honor to others. How long does it take to give your honor away? I want to tell you, you can do it quick. That's chapter 5. Now chapter 6. Look further in chapter 6, beginning in verse number 20. My son, keep your father's command. Do not forsake the law of your mother. Bind them continually upon the heart. Tie them around your neck. When you roam, they will lead you. When you sleep, they will keep you. When you awake, they will speak with you. For the commandment is a lamp, and a law of light, reproofs of instruction, to keep you from the evil woman, from the flattering tongue of a seductress. Do not lust after her beauty in your heart. Do not let her allure you with her eyelids. For by means of a harlot, a man is reduced to a crust of bread. And an adulteress will prey upon his precious life. Here's the question. Can a man take fire to his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Can he walk on hot coals and his feet not be seared? So is he who goes to his neighbor's wife. Whoever touches her shall not be innocent. And so what's he said to his son? Be careful where you go. Be cautious about your life. It doesn't take but just a minute and your life can be altered forever. Do you think daddies need to invest that in their sons today? Y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
I want to tell you that's crucial. And look down to chapter 7. Chapter 7, beginning verse number 6. For at the window of my house I looked through my lattice, and I saw among the simple, I perceived among the youths, a young man devoid of understanding, passing along the street near her corner. And he took the path to her house in the twilight of the evening, the black and dark night, and there a woman met him with the attire of a harlot and a crafty heart. She was loud and rebellious. Her feet would not stay at home. At times she was outside, at times in open square, lurking at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him. With an impudent face she said to him, I have peace offerings with me. Today I paid my vows. So I came out to meet you diligently to seek your face. I've been looking for you, boy. I had my eyes on you. And I found you. I've spread my bed with tapestry, colored coverings with Egyptian linen. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us delight ourselves with love, for my husband is not home. He's gone on a long journey. He's taken a bag of money with him, and he'll come home at the appointed hour. With her enticing speech, she caused him to yield. With her flattering lips, she seduced him. Immediately, he went after her as an ox goes after a slaughter. Y'all get that picture? How would you like for your son to be that son? You know how to avoid it? You train him up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. What's that saying? It says, be cautious. Let me tell you something, Daddy. Let me tell you something, Grandpa. You can't with integrity teach that unto your children if you're not that way yourself. You got to be that person. Now I'm going to do a brief rerun. I'm going to do a brief rerun because I've had this mentioned to me numerous times since I've been back. I taught something here at Lineville Baptist Church the first time I was here, and I may have done it earlier the second time I'm here, but I'm old and I can't remember. I want y'all to just stand with me. There's a line, and the line starts right there, and the line goes all the way over here. Y'all see the line? It's there. It's an imaginary line, but it's there. You know what that line is? It's the sin line. It's the sin line. And you're on this side of the line. And you don't want to cross over into sin. Temptation may come, but temptation's not sin. But when you cross over the line, that is sin. You know what our tendency is? This is humanity. This is human nature. Our tendency is to stay close to the, well, have any intention of crossing over. But there's something very alluring about that line that we want to get as close as we can get. And you know what we ought to do? We ought to do what James said. Submit yourselves to God. Resist the devil. In other words, we don't need to live close to the line. We need to live as far away from the line as we can get. And you know how that happens? With a daily surrender and a daily following of the Lord Jesus Christ. Stay away. Don't even get close to the line. I got to hurry. When the first time I taught that, I had a lady come up to me after church, and in fact, I think it was probably the following week that she came to see, and she said, Brother Larry, I want you to preach my funeral, and I want you to tell about the line at my funeral. You know why she wanted that? Because her family needed to hear it. She knew what the situation was with her family. And sometime later she died, and her family didn't call me. And so I don't know if they ever heard that. But I'm just telling you, this is critical. To say to our sons and our daughters, be cautious. You have to be. Not everybody has your best interest at heart. Not everybody even cares about you. They're only interested in fulfilling their own desires. And so we've got to be an example. We've got to be a moral man. Jeannie and I went to a church service one Sunday. When I was director of missions, we visited around to the churches, and one Sunday morning we visited a church, and it was intentional because there was a young boy being baptized, and we had become very close to that family. In fact, I had officiated the parents' wedding, had dedicated this young boy when he was born, and now he was being baptized. And just as an aside, later, a few years later from that, he called me one Sunday afternoon and he said, Brother Ayers, I got something to ask you. I said, what's that, Holt? He said, me and my fiance are going to get married. Would you officiate our wedding? You did our parents. My parents said, would you? I said, I'd be honored to do that. So we did that. And then a little bit later than that, he called back again and talked to Jeannie. And Jeannie, I think it was on a Sunday afternoon, she came in the den where I was. She said, Holt just called. And said, you know what he said? I said, what did he say? God's called him to ministry. Now, I'll tell you, that'll excite a preacher. To have had a little bit of part. I want to tell you, there's nothing in the world that's more exciting than to see somebody. But anyway, we went to that baptism that Sunday morning and baptized him, and then the pastor preached, and I'll never forget his sermon. His sermon title was The Danger of Secret Sin. It came from the book of Joshua. The great fall of God's people at Ai because of the sin of Achan. The danger. And I want to tell you, he preached it hard and strong. It was a great sermon. It was a great message. Powerful. Less than 3 months, that same pastor had to stand behind the pulpit of the church and resign as pastor of that church in disgrace. You know what his problem was? Secret sin. He thought that sermon was for everybody but him. He thought he was above that. And you know, I've had people ask me down through the years, do you think he can be, as a pastor, do you think he can be forgiven of that? Oh, absolutely be forgiven. In fact, the Bible tells us that there's only one unpardonable sin, and that's rejecting Jesus. But let me tell you something. Him being forgiven has nothing to do with him being restored in the leadership position in the church. You see, even after we're forgiven, sometimes there are consequences to our actions. Well, we still have, and that's the reason it's so incumbent. I'm saying to you men, and I'm not just talking to men, I'm talking to ladies here today. Be careful about where you go. Be careful about what you do. Be careful about the relationships that you have. They will have, let me tell you this. That pastor can be forgiven, but I'll guarantee you his children will never forget what he did. That marked them. I got more, but I won't quit. I'm going to quit right there. But I just want to tell you, dads, with all the love of my heart, you have the opportunity of having enormous influence on your children and your grandchildren. Use that for the glory of God. Same thing with you mothers and grandmothers. Let your lights shine. We're to be salt and let your lights shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify the Father which is in heaven. I just encourage you to take the first 9 chapters of Proverbs. I was going to talk to you about how much he taught them about giving. It was not just stewardship of money, but stewardship of their life, and how important it is that we create in our children the idea of generosity. How important that is, that we're not just takers, but that we model before them the quality of giving. So I just take those 9 chapters and I'm going to come back one day and I'm going to say, did y'all do it? But it all begins with a personal relationship with Jesus. You can't bring your children in the nurture and admonition of the Lord apart from the Lord in your life. And so if you're here this morning and never trusted Christ, our invitation is to give your heart to Jesus. If you've trusted Christ but never publicly professed your faith, this is your opportunity to do that. God's leading you to be a part of Lineville Baptist Church, a church that will walk with you and guide you and give you opportunities to serve and to use your giftedness in the kingdom of God. God's leading you. We would invite you to begin that process. There may be some dads here this morning just need to come and kneel at this altar of prayer and say, God, I just want a fresh way just to surrender myself. Lord, show me, help me, empower me. I can't do this. But you can guide me. You can empower me. Whatever that decision may be for your life, we invite you to come as we stand together, as we have our closing hymn. Mark's going to come and lead us as we sing together, as the Spirit of God leads you and directs you. You come as we sing.
294. Have that on the way.